Mike Cernovich is an independent journalist, author, filmmaker, and he did a report on how the Southern Poverty Law Center, which started as an organization that helped fight for the rights of poor minorities in the civil rights movement and has devolved into a leftist advocacy group, which still bandies about as a legitimate civil rights organization, was complicit in a mass shooting in 2012. Cernovich wrote a report about this, which he published online. The title of the report is How a Convicted Terrorist Used the Southern Poverty Law Center's website to Identify Targets. If you put in that exact name, it does not come up. Google has completely scrubbed it from its results, and Cernovich proved this by tweeting out both a Google query of that name and a DuckDuckGo query of that name, showing that Google does not bring it up where DuckDuckGo does. So it's clearly there and exists, and somebody has clearly made a decision, whether that be a Google partnership with the SPLC or otherwise, to remove it from Google's search index, which means that a regular person not knowing to look for it on an alternative browser would never find it. And you might be saying, what's the big deal about this? Well, the big deal is that there is really a lot of there, and it's not some sort of conspiracy theory bogus. Let me read some excerpts from an article of a person who was in the building at the time of the shooting. The shooting happened on August 15th, 2012, and it happened at a Christian lobbying group. I don't know, maybe not lobbying group, but a Christian organization in D.C. called the Family Research Council. They call themselves a public advocacy organization that promoted principles of, traditional family, dignity of human life, religious liberty. Regardless of whether you agree with these things, the Southern Poverty Law Center labeled them as a hate group. And this was what the person who was arrested after shooting up the building said he used as the way that he identified his targets. He was being interviewed by the FBI after he was arrested, and he said that he was using the SPLC's log of hate groups to find the buildings that he was going to target. He had planned to shoot that building up, and he had two more buildings which he had found on that SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center website. And the article's author here, Jessica Pearl-Smith, who was in the building working for this Christian group at the time, of course, blames both the shooter and the SPLC. This is a pretty upsetting thing to have be so clearly worthy of discussion and have it scrubbed from the internet to make it impossible to discuss or to make it so that normal people can't even find out about it. Now, I'm not coming down and completely condemning what the SPLC did. I'm not saying that they're responsible for the shooting, but I'm also saying that they clearly had a role in it, and that to censor a report that goes into the real facts and the real details of their role in it just because you like the SPLC and you dislike the people who dislike the SPLC is very clearly wrong, and it's an example of Google misusing their power. If you think content on big tech is interesting, I talk about it a lot on this channel. Please feel free to subscribe or check out my big tech playlist for more videos on this topic.